Welcome, it's story time again. Timestamps, as always, are in the description box. Let's jump in. Story number 1. Opie writes, Hello everyone. English is not my first language, so there may be some errors. Apologies. It was my cousin's wedding a couple of days ago. I'm allergic to peanuts, so 2 days before the wedding, I asked her if there were any dishes served that had peanuts in it, so that I could avoid eating that. She told me she'll check with the caterers and inform me on the day of the wedding. Fast forward on the day, I asked her which dishes had the nut in it, and she told me none of them did. After lunch, I started to feel my throat closing in and my skin itching. Thankfully, I had my EpiPen with and stabbed it into my thigh. All this had attracted quite the attention and people were surrounding me. I was fine, but went to the hospital just to be safe. I later got text from the bride and her siblings how it was incredibly selfish of me to steal the attention from the bride and a bunch of cuss words. My family thinks it was her who endangered my life and should apologize. She says I should have just sucked it up. I was sure I wasn't in the wrong, but now I'm not sure. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Edit. So many people have asked why I waited till the last 2 days to ask her, and I did that because my whole family knows I'm allergic to peanuts, and during occasional gatherings I'll ask or they'll tell me if something they prepared had peanuts or was prepared in a utensil that had traces of it, i.e. cross-contamination. I didn't want her to change her menu for me and would have eaten nothing if there weren't anything. I don't mind because I don't want to inconvenience people just because of me and have a plan hereby around me. Also, in our culture, we don't really have RSVPs, and especially those that ask about your allergies, LOL. I just avoid eating when I go to a wedding that aren't my close friends or families. Also, I couldn't possibly ask the caterers, as the teenage boys and girls of the family serve the food which was arranged by the caterers. And here's Opie's update. So a few people texted me asking for an update, and I'll also clarify some of the points people were confused about. Anyways, on to the update. I contacted my aunt, bride's mother, because I couldn't reach her. She blocked me and asked her what really happened, because in midst of all this, I wasn't really sure if it was the caterer's problem or if she simply didn't check. Some people also told me to sue her if that was the case. Turns out she did, and the food the caterers prepared actually didn't contain peanuts or traces of it. What happened was they ordered desserts from elsewhere, and yeah, she forgot to ask them. When she realized what happened after I went to the hospital, I guess she thought people will blame her, so she went to offense mode. I'm not sure still. Her mom is sort of old-fashioned, so she again asked me if I couldn't have controlled it. LOL. I guess that's all for now. My cousin told me some of the family members thought that I had made a mountain out of a small rash, which is why they went against me, I guess. I'm still confused, to be honest. Some of the stories don't add up. Anyways, so the people who told me that going to the hospital after using an EpiPen is a must. Thank you. I truly did not know that, and my doctor told me to go just in case. Also, we don't have RSVPs in our culture. I'm not from the West. This was also my first allergic reaction, as I have been avoiding peanuts since the day I found out I couldn't eat it, and thankfully hadn't consumed it accidentally. So I may have panicked a little and couldn't do the EpiPen thingy quietly. This may not be the perfect update, but yeah. I'm not mad at my cousin about the allergic reaction, but how she blamed me later on. Opie, the thing about this story that sticks out like a sore thumb is the ignorance of your family members. I can't believe people are telling you, why did you do this? That's quite shocking to me. It was very ugly of your cousin and her family to cuss at you and send you those messages saying that you took attention away from the bride. Just unbelievable that people would think somebody would go to those lengths to be the center of attention. Okay, let's move on to story number 2. Opie writes, 2 years ago, my sister had some health issues. We were fairly close at the time, and she updated me consistently about her pain, fear, etc. We spoke daily, and she asked that I not share her health issues with anyone else in our family because she wanted privacy and also did not talk much to our parents. I did as she asked and also checked in on her often and offered help or whatever she needed. I sent her memes and videos to cheer her up as I would any friend. We were in contact pretty much daily and I was very worried for her. I often told her we would figure everything out, my way of showing her that I was in this with her. Her health issues culminated in her needing surgery, and as the time drew near, she became distant and refused to share when the procedure would take place. She finally did, but would not let me know what time. I begged her just to tell me when it was over so I knew she was safe. She refused and said that my anxiety over her health issues was too much and that she was sick of my constant contact. She also said that my stating that, quote, we, unquote, would figure things out was intrusive. After she told me this, she never spoke to me again. I was blocked on all platforms and ignored at family events. Last week, my parents and all of my siblings received invitations to her wedding later this year. I did not. I didn't expect to, but I guess I also didn't expect my parents to be invited since she doesn't speak to them either, and being snubbed like this is so hurtful. I will admit that my anxiety about her health issues was not fair to her, but I was also forced to keep it all a secret for an entire year and bear her burden with no help during a very serious health crisis. I don't think I deserved to be cut off completely. One sibling asked her why I wasn't invited. She stated that I had crossed a boundary that was unforgivable and that she didn't think it was worth the money to have me at her wedding. I'm not saying anyone needs to invite anyone they don't want to their wedding, but again, it sickens me to think that I put my life on hold to be her emotional dumping ground until she no longer needed me. And now I am the cause of my whole family trying to figure out what to do and who to side with. The whole situation makes me absolutely sick to my stomach. I likely wouldn't have gone even if I had been invited due to her not speaking to me for so long. But the fact that she's going around telling people that I broke some huge boundary when I was just concerned about her is breaking my heart. I would do anything for those I love. I am sick and exhausted by this situation. Edits. I'm being told I left out the very important info that my sister cheated on her fiancé. I believe he knows because he was with her during her medical crisis and knows about it. As far as I am aware, she was clean when they met, prior testing. Has he put two and two together, or has she told him? I don't know. Also, yes, I have anxiety. It is successfully medicated 99% of the time. I am not pretending that I did not perhaps check in too much or, quote, creep her out, unquote, as one comment put it. I checked in a few times a day, many of which were initiated by her telling me about pain, etc. And I'm sure that is part of it. I'm not trying to hide that. I also am not trying to make myself the, quote, main character, unquote, of her illness, LOL. She did not have cancer. It was caught in time to get rid of everything, and as far as I know, she is still well. And here's Opie's update. Hi all. I wrote this post to get it all off my chest. I didn't expect anyone to see or care. Thank you for all of your kind advice. My sister's fiancé was with her for her procedure, and I assume he knows how she got sick. This was more of a way to try and get it out of my mind, and instead it has blown up. I will read everything, but likely will not respond. Lastly, I know some people are claiming I must be lying or leaving something out. To my knowledge, I am not, and I'm comfortable with everything I've said as my side of the situation. I do have anxiety, and do believe that my checking in with my sister was too much for her. I'm not pretending it wasn't, and I'm also not pretending she had no right to be upset. I just think she overreacted, and it hurts. I will not tell anyone in my family how to respond to her. They know my side now. Thanks. Well, Opie, it sounds like there's a lot going on with this story, that there's a lot of history behind this that we didn't get. And it seems like both you and your sister have things that you're trying to work through individually. And I'm wondering if that didn't contribute to this clash between the two of you and your sister going no contact. So I really think therapy for the both of you individually would be the best thing, and later, when that is sorted, when you both feel stronger and better within yourselves, you can go together and try to sort through things and mend your relationship, hopefully. And on to story number 3. Opie writes, I've been reading about parents showing up unannounced at their children's doorstep, and I never understood why anyone would think this is acceptable behavior. This happened to my husband this weekend, where his mom called multiple times at 8 in the morning while we were both sleeping. My husband didn't pick up as we were both sleeping and then got a text from mother-in-law asking if she could be picked up as she dropped her car off for maintenance for the next couple of hours. Husband, being annoyed, told her no because he's still sleeping. We both tried to go back to sleep, and an hour later we hear her shout outside our bedroom door, announcing her arrival. Needless to say, husband and I are both pissed, and he went down to speak to her. Her response was he doesn't love his family. I can't wrap my head around why any parent would not think this is the most invasive and unacceptable behavior to subject your child to. She is absolutely insane. What hurts me the most was we gave her the keys in case of emergency, and she completely abused it and lost our trust. There's really no going back after this, especially with her refusing to understand our point of view and no remorse at all. Any therapist care to explain this behavior? Well, here's Opie's update. Thank you everyone for your 2 cents and those who shared your stories. Made me feel less alone and helped with fighting against her guilt trip and gaslighting. Quick update. She unsurprisingly sent my husband a long text message trying to gaslight the both of us. Said she did feel embarrassed by shouting outside our bedroom door, but did it anyway and proceeded to call both me and my husband inconsiderate and impolite because we didn't come down to greet her. She was mad because we decided to stay in bed to try to go back to sleep, that she disturbed, but couldn't, so we were in bed resting and chatting before husband went down to yell at her for her lack of boundaries an hour later. Her justification for showing up unannounced was that husband didn't pick up her call at 8 in the morning on a weekend, and that if he picked up and let her know she wasn't invited, she would have not showed up. Are you effing kidding me? Not picking up and, quote, no, I'm sleeping, unquote, is not an invitation. Ended the text message by calling both of us selfish, and also had to mention that we go eat at high-end restaurants. Not sure how that's relevant except a blatant display of jealousy. And yes, we do treat her to the same high-end restaurants that we go to because we like sharing good places to eat with friends and family. She also didn't forget to drag me into her issues with her son and called me cold, rude, and impolite because I never came out of my bedroom to cater to her needs. At least now I know this isn't just a boundary/communication issue. She's just bat crap crazy. Well, Opie, I understand your frustration with your mother-in-law. Parents are supposed to raise their children to become responsible young adults and go out there and pursue their own dreams and live their own lives. But some parents have a hard time accepting that their children are now adults with their own lives, and you can't just do things like this, like go into your house with the key that you gave in case of an emergency, and go inside and go right to the bedroom door and shout at your child and your child's significant other, announcing that you're there. Completely unacceptable behavior. And why didn't your mother-in-law inform you, asked you the day before if your husband can give her a ride, instead of calling the very morning she wants the ride and then showing up at the house and all angry and trying to gaslight you? Indeed, she was trying to gaslight you. Sit her down when the dust has settled a bit and explain to her as a couple what your boundaries are. Good luck with that, Opie, really. Good luck. Well, those are today's stories. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel. Leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.